Well, welcome to a new yapping video. Let's talk about AI. So I'm filming with my phone right now. I'm not sure about the sound. I'm not sure about the way the video looks like. I'm not sure about anything, but I'm just here to talk. So let's talk. Usually I do movie reviews, right? Or series reviews, it doesn't matter. But I'm going to take a break from that really quickly. Actually, not really quickly, because I am analyzing Shadow and Bone. And to do that, I have to read all of the books. So I don't know if you can see up there, but I have the part of a series, like the 5 first books. I'm waiting for the others, and I'm also watching the series, so I'm analyzing everything from start to finish. But to do that, I need time, and I wanted to do movie reviews to have a bit more time, but still post things. But at the end of the day, it's still taking me a lot of time. If you didn't watch my birthday video, I have another channel. This is not my only one, hence why the time is short. Anyways, I was going to talk about AI and photography because I saw something outrageous yesterday on Instagram. Multiple people comparing photography and AI, saying that a long time ago when photography came to be, people didn't consider it art. So that's the same with AI right now. People don't consider AI art right now, but later on in life it will be considered AI. And it's the same way. It's just being a bit against new technologies. People are not against AI in general, by the way. We are against AI as in generative AI, but also AI as in you cannot do anything without looking at ChatGPT. Those are the two things we're really denouncing, really talking about. But I wanted to talk about the comparison between photography and AI because I felt like it was outrageous and actually an insult to art history. So let's talk about it a bit. You might see behind me up there and here, I am an artist. Actually, I went to art school. I have a degree in visual art. So art is something I know about, and I did have multiple photography classes, including cinema classes. I did a lot of things in college, okay? Don't mind me, I have a lot of knowledge. My brain, it's big. Anyways, people are going to take me seriously, I know that. But I wanted to talk about it because I felt like it was outrageous. In a way that photography was not considered art in some ways because it was just taking a picture of reality, like something that we're replacing family portraits. You could take photographies of things, etc. But then we discovered the way of using photography, learn new codes and new techniques. And that's how it became to be art. Not because it was simply taking a picture. Because if you take a picture with your phone, it's not gonna be a piece of art. It's just a picture on your phone. So you're not doing photography as in artistic photography when you're doing that. To have something being called art when it's photography, it's because you have an intent, it's because you have a meaning behind it, or a subject, a technique, something that makes it art. Photography in itself is not art. It's art because you make it art. It's because you, human, make something art. AI cannot do that because you do not make the picture. You do not make anything. The machine is making it. You are not. You are asking the machine to create something for you, but you are not making the picture. The machine does, and the machine creates a picture based on others' pictures. Pictures owned by people, faces of people, not you. You do not create anything. You generate something based on a prompt, and that is not art, and it will never be. Art is something human. It's something you create. And if you don't create anything, it is simply not art. Behind most AI pictures you see online, none of them are art. Because it's just a pretty picture. But for something to be art, being pretty is not enough. That's not what art is. And people who don't understand art and what art is will always say that AI is art because it creates a picture. It creates an illustration if you want. But that's not how it works. when someone creates a character or even makes an art, there's an intent behind it on why they're doing so, and therefore it makes it art. When you generate an image of something, you did not create. There was no intent but making a pretty picture. And making a pretty picture is not art. It's not art. And you're going to say, yes, but there's plenty of artists that goes art to just make it art. I dare say, I'm going to say it, being an artist is not as simple as making something pretty to me. It engaged the technique too. You can be an artist that entire career is based on technique and not what the image looks like by the end. Or home designers, for example, often use paintings, very specific paintings, depending on what the people want in their house, and use some pieces of art that are just here to make the house look pretty. But it's making the house look pretty because of a certain technique used in that art. Therefore, it is art. Art is a subject that is quite complicated because a lot of people argue about the meaning of art in general. And I will not tell you to have the definition of art that I have. You have your own. That's fine. That's normal. And actually, that's some classes that I had in college where we were discussing what is the meaning of art. And it was just an entire course of asking ourselves, what is art? And by the end, we all have our own definition of what art is, and that's completely fine. However, AI will never be art because it's artificial. It's not created by you. It's not created by me. It's a machine that made a mix of a lot of other things and made something. It's generating something, but it's not creating something. There's nothing that comes out of you. There's nothing that comes out of that machine. It's all a mix of things that already exist, and therefore is not art. I don't know if I explained myself well. I've talked for 7 minutes already. Then I just say, I don't know, I had to say it. And photography, like I said, is all about the technique, the intent, what you wanted to do behind it. Which is, by the way, why I'm really mad at everyone who says that hyperrealism or realism is not art. Art is also the technique. It's not only what the picture looks like by the end. Because, well, I mean, it depends. Because realism is here as a way to create a picture. Why not take a photography instead of making it, right? Why do something realistic? Why do something with realism when you could just take a photography? And here's the difference. The technique is not the same. And the technique is also the art. For example, there's so many different types of techniques in paintings, but at the end, it's still art, right? But for example, the sfumato is not the same fucking technique as if you were doing cubism. You're not using the same technique. And those two things are extremely different. They don't have the same result. And even though you're taking a picture, a photography of something, which you could, the result would not be the same as someone who made something with realism, a drawing or a painting that is hyper-realistic. The end result will not be the same. Even if it looks real, it is not an equivalent. And because it's not the same, well, realism is its own form of art. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if I explained myself really well. Me, I used realism as a way to talk when I was in college and I did my memoir and all that. I talked about anorexia and I talked about body dysmorphia. And I used realism as a way to push myself to see my body fully for what it was and not for a lie. And in that realism, I added other things that were not realistic. So realism, training yourself to be able to draw realism or painting realism is actually quite important if you want to invent new skills or new arts that are different from others. I don't know if I explain myself well. I kind of went everywhere with this, but I just like talking about art in general. And I like art, and people saying that AI and photographies are linked together. No. Photography found its meaning in art because humans managed to bring meaning to it, because they could create something new with it. You cannot create anything new with AI. You can just mix pictures, but at the end of the day, it will look like something that already exists. It will never look like something that never existed. Because, you know, those, like, some people will argue that AI can do things that are kind of uncanny, things that are kind of uncomfortable to watch. It's real. But human can do that too. With 3D, with paintings, we can easily do that. It's nothing new. I'm just gonna say it. You cannot create anything new with AI, with the intent and the technique that a human have. So, well, that a human has. Therefore, AI is not art. That's the conclusion of this video. Like I said, I'm working on this Shadow and Bone video. I'm working on a lot of things. My second channel, which is I make stories, animated stories. So it's taking a long time. It's not easy. And it's been working quite well, so I'm concentrating on that for now. And you might see a bit more vlogs, because I guess I just still want to publish things, even though I'm not exactly making something extremely serious. But I hope you liked this video, and if you liked it, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. And I hope you have a good day, night, whatever. Goodbye. Okay, well, this is kind of awkward now, because usually I cut it with the editing, but I don't have any editing, so